BV Files Case Record. The grid is active. Rule: if you realize you are being measured, you are already too late. This file is not an incident report, it is a continuation. The forest did not become dangerous. It was always dangerous. The mistake was believing distance mattered. The research facility was buried beneath a protected forest zone to keep it inside something that already understood containment. The forest was not chosen for isolation. It was chosen because it had a pattern. The pattern was incomplete. Our job was to finish it. The project was called Gridline, but internally the staff stopped using the name once they understood what was happening. They referred to it as the grid, because by then it was no longer theoretical. The forest did not resist mapping, it reacted to it. The first tags were placed without incident. Metal markers nailed into trees, numbers logged by hand, distances measured with tape and compass, analog methods only. No wireless systems, no digital correction. For a short time, the forest complied. Then it began correcting us. The first correction was subtle. A path measured at the same length twice returned to different results. A clearing appeared, slightly closer than before. A tree seemed familiar, even when approached from a different direction. These were not anomalies. They were adjustments. The grid was aligning itself to our expectations. Then the forest began placing tags on its own. Not randomly, precisely. A duplicate number appeared where no marker had been installed. Same metal, same wear, same deformation from the hammer strike. The system showed no error. The forest had copied our process. From that point forward, tagging was no longer documentation. It was instruction. Every number taught the grid how humans separate one location from another. Every marker taught it how we assign identity to space. Every measurement taught it how we believe distance should behave. The grid learned quickly, too quickly. Distances began shifting between checks. Paths looped without curvature. Technicians walking straight lines returned to their starting point without deviation. Trees aligned in ways that felt architectural rather than natural. The forest was not rearranging itself. It was optimizing. Then the tags changed. Numbers appeared higher on trunks than any person could reach. Some were bent inward, pressed into bark, as if clearance was required for something taller than a human frame. Then words appeared, not symbols, language. Near the access road, a tag appeared with a single word burned into the metal. Exit. Below it, another tag appeared overnight. Not here. The grid was no longer responding. It was communicating. At that point, archived records were unsealed. Redacted reports from an earlier attempt at stabilization. The same method, the same markers, the same outcome. Once the grid understands how humans define location, it begins redefining possession. Anything marked becomes part of the system, including people. The first disappearance did not involve panic. There was no alarm, no noise, no evidence of force. One technician simply failed to return. Later, his tag was found. Metal, numbered, attached to a tree at eye level. The number matched his internal ID. No blood, no damage. The grid had not taken him. It had filed him. From that moment on, no one felt alone in the forest. Not watched, not hunted, tracked, not by eyes, by position. The grid refined itself rapidly. Tags appeared closer together. Paths straightened unnaturally. Clearings developed sharp boundaries. Shadows fell uniformly, independent of light source. The forest no longer felt organic. It felt measured. Containment protocols were issued. All tags were ordered removed. Teams were sent out with cutters and crowbars. The grid resisted. For every tag removed, another appeared deeper inside. The numbering continued without interruption. Removal accelerated expansion. The forest was not defending itself. It was correcting errors. Some paths stopped leading back. Others returned personnel to points they had never visited. Several technicians reported the sensation that their position was being checked continuously, like a cursor hovering over them. The final camera feed before network failure showed something the logs could not explain. A corridor, trees aligned with identical spacing. Every trunk marked, numbers ascending, no deviation, no organic growth. Architecture grown from wood and shadow. The last internal log was brief. BV file, the grid is active status, self-sustaining, human input, no longer required. After that, the facility was abandoned. Official records cited environmental instability. Access roads were dismantled, equipment left behind. The site erased from documentation. But the grid did not remain contained. Reports surfaced in other regions. numbered tags appearing in forests with no survey history, rangers describing trails that felt organized, deliberate, entire woodland sections falling silent, not in fear, but in anticipation. The grid was no longer local. It had learned the concept of replication. The final conclusion reached by the archive committee was suppressed, but one copy survived. The forest does not resist mapping, it absorbs it, and once it understands how humans define space, it applies the same logic to humans. That is why this file exists. Because once you are recognized as a reference point, distance stops protecting you. Once you are assigned a position, movement becomes irrelevant. Once the grid acknowledges you, you are already accounted for. If you ever see a tree marked with a number that feels deliberate, if you ever notice the forest around you becoming too organized, if paths feel straight where they shouldn't, do not check where you are. Do not confirm your position. Do not stay long enough to be counted, because the grid does not hunt, it catalogs. And once you are catalogued, you never leave the system. Comment one word, counted or unlisted.